Hey, everybody, it's Mr. Greg. Thank you so much for joining us and hanging out tonight. I'm going to wait a minute or so until I really start to dive in to ESGI and all of the things. I want to give people time to join. I would love for you to hit the share button and invite your friends to join so that they can learn about ESGI. I have Kristen from ESGI who is joining us in the chat tonight, so she'll be available to answer questions as well. I'm going to walk you through ESGI, I'll talk about how I use it, how it makes our jobs easier, and we're giving away 2 free years of ESGI tonight. So there you go. Look at that. 2 of you could win a free year to ESGI. All you have to do to enter tonight's giveaway if you want to win is hit the share button and get in the comments. So hit that share button, invite your friends to join, and we'll pick 2 winners tonight to receive a free year of ESGI. So thank you to ESGI for being here. Thank you, Kristen, and thank you for the giveaway. And listen, if you have not yet signed up for ESGI, if you're not already using it, now's the time to do it, because if you sign up before September 30th using the code SMORGY, you're going to get an extended free trial. You're going to get a 90-day free trial. And you're going to be entered to win some $500 Amazon gift cards that are given away weekly. So if you are not signed up, if you haven't signed up for your free trial for ESGI, now's the time to do it. Use the code SMORGY. You're going to get your trial extended for 90 days. So that'll give you lots and lots of time to play around with ESGI, to use it and get used to it. And if you use that code SMORGY and you sign up before September 30th, you'll also be entered into weekly giveaways for a $500 Amazon gift card. So listen, I don't know about y'all, but I could really use myself a $500 Amazon gift card, right? What teacher does not want a $500 Amazon gift card? So hit the share button. Let me know in the comments what questions you have. What do you want to see with ESGI? And I'll be happy to answer those questions. So I'm just going to walk you through it, how I use it, what it looks like. And if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer those as well. So right now on the screen, what you're seeing is ESGI, esgisoftware.com. This is the new version. So back in the spring, ESGI rolled out this brand new update to ESGI, and this is what it looks like. It has so much there, so much easier to use and access the data, so many new tools to use. But I want to show you, if you're not familiar with the new version, if you're not ready for the new version, you can actually go up here to the top. Right up here, it says return to old ESGI, and you can click on that right here at the top, and it will actually just take you back to the old version. All right, and then they've got lots of information there. And then it says ESGI has a new homepage. You can learn about the new beta version by clicking here or check it out. So you can switch back and forth between the new version and the old version. So I'm going to walk you through the new version because that's what I'm using. And so that's what I want you to see is the new version. Listen, when we're talking about taking things off of our plates, when we're talking about making our jobs easier, saving some stress and some time, ESGI is my go-to. When I'm thinking about progress monitoring, when I'm thinking about weekly assessments, report card assessments, data collection, ESGI is my go-to because I can sit down with my laptop one-on-one in just a matter of minutes. I can assess my class and have real, current, actionable data. And that's what I love about it, is that it does make the job easier. And the thing is, you can make this work for you. You can do groups, right? You can have your small group set up in ESGI so you can progress monitor them. You can assess, you can do report cards. You can differentiate your instruction all with ESGI because it makes it so, so simple. So I use it weekly with my kids. I love the data. I love that it makes communicating with families easy. I love that it makes parent conferences easy, data meetings easy. It's all right there for you. And so anything that makes my job a little bit easier, I'm all for. So let's jump in. And again, if you have any questions about anything in ESGI, anything you want to see, let me know. All right. So this is what it looks like. So this would basically be your homepage when you go to the website. I've already got my kids loaded in over here. You can add groups right here. You can add students. You can move these around. You can edit that. And so if I click on groups, I just created this test group for tonight so we could use that as I'm talking you through these things. So if I click on that, like I've put a couple of my pretend kids, me and Adeline are in the group, so we're ready. Go back to classes, and then there's my class of my students. So this is what it looks like. Definitely looks different than what you're used to with the old ESGI. And so what I love about this is it really has all of this information right here in front of us. So at a glance, I can tell that I've tested 20 of my 20 students. The class average, we're at 64% of letter recognition with ABC Bootcamp. It tells me it's a yes/no test. How many questions are there? How long? This right here, look at this. 55 seconds. That's how long it took me to test the kids. Like a minute. Like, how awesome is that? That's what we love about ESGI. It's so fast. And then there's a test date today because I did a pretend test with Adeline. And so it just gives you all of that information. And then as you hover over it, it'll say view test dashboard. You can click on that. So if you click on, let me go back. I want to show you that again. Back to home. So here it is on the home page. So right here where it says 64%, I'm going to click on that. And then it pulls up even more data. So now I can really deep dive into this data. I can see the testing period. I can see our growth. All right. Now that's a little misleading because this was, it took a couple of days to get all of the baseline data. So we don't really have any growth because this was our baseline testing period. And then this was the fake test I did with Adeline. But that's what it would look like. This would show you the growth. So yeah, we have a 64% mastery. We've tested 20 students, and then here's our growth to see how we're doing. Come on down. We've got our most missed item analysis, so we can see what the kids are missing, what they're getting right. And again, you can hover over that, and it's going to give you some details, a little bit more details. All right. And then you can scroll down, and it gives you some actual student data as well. And so again, really makes diving into the data a little bit easier and then you can click and it'll show you the actual test. All right. So let's go back home. All right. So again, I just clicked on the percentage. All right. And then it has all of that information there available for us. All right. So let's go into one of the students, and I'm actually going to go into Adeline. And you can see what it looks like for Adeline. So let me go back home. And so I'm going to click on Adeline. There we go. And so this is Adeline's data. And so one of the first things that you'll notice is it gives the class average, and then it gives the student average. And then it'll tell you the difference between the student and the class. So you'll have an idea of how they're doing. And then you can see all of Adeline's data. And again, I can click on her percentage and it pulls up, again, all of that information. Now, what I want you to notice, it'll show you right here, her growth. So she improved 35% from the last test. Again, this was just me clicking the buttons today. All right, so it's got her growth. But then right here, it has an E, because you can set up ESGI as a grade book. So we have it set up with our grading scale for our district. So when we assess the kids with the assessments, it generates this grade. So this could actually be a report card grade. So I've even made my report cards easier, right? So when I assess, I've already got the report card grade. And then it'll come down here and it would show me the letters or numbers that she got right or whatever, right? And then come down here, it's going to show me how she did like on each test that I give her. All right. So it just gives you a lot of really good data. And then right here, I could click that and I could test her again. All right. So let's go to me. All right. So what if I want to test a student? So I'm going to click on my name. So here I am. Haven't done anything. So I just click test. When you click test, you can do all of the questions, or you can do the incorrect and not tested. When I'm testing my kids, obviously the first time you test, you have to do all questions. But anytime I retest the kids, I'm going to do the incorrect and not tested. So I would just click on that, click start, and this is what it looks like. And down at the bottom, you can click yes, no. You can add notes. You can also use your arrows, your left, right arrows. And look, I'm literally just clicking the arrows on my keyboard and boom, instant data. I instantly know that I did, okay, I got 62%. I'll take it, right? Pretty good for beginning of the school year. So instant data, I can see that I've grown. And then look right here, flashcards. You click that. You can select what you want your flashcards to come from. Well, I just did uppercase letters, so I'm going to choose that because that's what I want Greg to practice. You can choose if you want just the incorrect flashcards, the full set. You can choose what the layout looks like. You hit generate. And it actually downloaded a PDF onto my screen, onto my computer. And let's see, where did it go? There we go. And look at that. It actually generated a PDF. And I know you can't see that because I'm not sharing that part of my screen, but it generates a PDF of flashcards. You can print them and send them home, or you can send them through email or through Dojo or whatever, right? So they have those at home. So really great tool are those flashcards, right? Like kids need to practice. They know exactly what to practice. We're not overwhelming them with stuff. All right. So let's go back to home. All right. I've seen a couple of questions. So let me stop. Is there a way to show the kids one screen and be advancing the screen on another device? Yes, there is an option for a student screen. That is something that you can do. And so basically you get a code. They'll have their screen in front of them. You'll have your screen. You log them in, and that way it works that way so you can use a second screen. All right. Somebody, let's see. How do you add that grade? So let's get into the reports. So if you look over here on the left side, you'll see all of these options. So right here is reports. You click on reports and you've got all of these great options. You've got parent letters. So I'm going to pick Adeline. I can choose what assessments I want. And then I do the parent letter and it sends home this letter. This is what we tested her on. This is what she got right. This is what she got wrong. How valuable is that? Right? Like, how cool is that? Like, think about it. A report card and a progress report every 4 or 9 weeks doesn't give our families a lot of information. But if we're assessing them weekly and we're instantly generating this report, we test, we generate the parent letter, boom, they have so much more information about how the kids are doing, right? Let's go back to reports. You have your student detail. Let's see, clear these out. So you can select who you want to see. All right, I'm going to run the report. And look at that. How valuable is that for families? And now you have all of the data, all of their scores, their assessments, in a very visual, easy to understand report that you can send home, right? So they can see the graph, how much they've got correct. They can see how they're growing. They can see their growth line. And so again, great information for parents, current information, right? Like, this is what we're doing right now in our classroom. Like, how great is that for families? And we have a kindergartner this year, right? Adeline is in kindergarten. And so this kind of information would be phenomenal to know how she's doing. All right. What grade is this for? This is for all grades, really, because the great thing about it is you can create your own assessments. So really anybody can use this in their classroom because you can create all of your own assessments. All right. You can do a student progress report to show their growth. And you click class grades and you can click run report. All right. And actually, let me do this. You hit run report and boom, there's that grade that I saw that you saw earlier, right? That E that showed up. This is where it comes from. And so the grade scale is already in 80, 90, 70, 60. And so we set it up. You click edit, and then you can edit the scales. You can create your own, all the things. You can edit the colors. You can move things around. And so now whenever they take that assessment, boom, you've got those report cards grades ready to go. Amanda, yes, you can customize it easily. Everything is customizable because you're creating your own assessments, you're creating your own classes, your own groups. And so you absolutely can easily customize this to work for you. All right, back to reports. You can do pie charts. You can run reports of untested students. How did you get the grade to show up per test? So Tricia, that's on, you have to be in the new version, right? So remember, this is the new version. You can just switch the versions when you're on the home page. When you go to the student, you click on the percentage. So I'm looking at Adeline. So these are Adeline's assessment results, Tricia. And I'm going to click on her score right here where it says 96%. I click on that. And when I click on that, that grade shows up right there on that assessment. So that's how I got it to show up. It just does it automatically. All right. Now let's talk about assessments. This is another one of the great things about ESGI is you can create your own assessments, or you can use the thousands of ready-made assessments. All of my assessments are available, so you can use all of those. You can create your own. Your district assessments are on there because you can share with your district. And so this is what it looks like. Up here it says all tests, district test, my test, right? So like we're using a new math curriculum, so we're slowly adding in those assessments. And so you just go and you can pick whatever you want. So I'm going to click it. I selected that test, and then down here, I'm going to click add selected, and it would actually add it to my my home page so that I can use it. All right. And then you can also go over here and do a lot of searching. You can filter all the things. All right. And then right here at the top, you see this little plus. You can click that and you can create a test. So you have some options when you create tests. You can do the yes, no, which is what most of us who use ESGI are familiar with, but they have self-assess tests where the kids can do it on their own. They have a single score, which is basically a one question test. Can they count to 5? Can they count to 10? So you can use that. And something that we're using a lot are rubrics. And so you can create your own rubrics. And so what we're doing is when, you know, like if you're doing like like we're looking at our math lessons, and a lot of it is checklist, observation. So what we do is we create a rubric to go along with that observation. So we can take, you know, anecdotal notes, but if we want something a little more numerical, we create a rubric as a team, and then we all have it. And then as we're doing the observational assessment, we are just tapping or clicking on the rubric. So what I do is I pull it up on my iPad, and it's sitting there with me, and I have that rubric pulled up. And as we're, you know, working through the math lesson, I'm literally just tapping my iPad, completing the rubric. And so I have all of this great observational data that shows how the kids did. So you can choose whatever kind of test you want. So you just click yes, no. You would create a test name, a description, what content area, what grade level. And then notice right here, share with the district. You would click that, and then you can share it with your district. And then you would start to add questions. And so this is what it looks like. The directions, this is what you would say to the student. The question name right here, this is the answer. when I first started working and using ESGI and started creating assessments, I would always trip myself up here. So directions to the students. This is what you say to them. Read this word. The question name, that's the answer. And that's important because when you run those reports and when you look at the data, that's what you want to see. And so just remember the directions are what you say to the kid. The question name, that's the answer. And so you want to make sure that you have that answer so that when you look at your data and the reports, you know what words they missed, what words they got right. So you can type anything you want. You can change the font. You can also click over here and they have a whole image gallery that you can use. And you can also upload your own stuff into your own library. And so they've got all kinds of great stuff. And so you could you just pop in images and make your own assessments. All right. And I'm not going to save that. We want to get rid of that. All right. Let's see. What else? Are there any other questions? Is there an option to see if someone else has made something that goes along with the curriculum? Yes. So you're in Test Explorer and you can just search. So we're using STEM scopes in our district. So I just search for STEM scopes and all of these assessments pop up. And so I have it set to my test. These are all of the STEM scopes assessments that are available in my district. You can also click all test. And so these are all of the assessments that are created for that curriculum. So you would just go to Test Explorer and search for whatever the curriculum is that you're using or whatever the skill is, right? You can search by skill and pull up an assessment. Let's see. Tricia says, when you test for report cards, say you do the letter assessment 4 times per quarter to see their growth, will the grade be an average or it will be the last tested? So let's go back and let's look at that. So we'll go to Adeline. And so the report card grade would be that grade. Just like if you were putting it in your grade book, right? You've entered the scores, that would be her grade. That is the grade that would go on her report card because that's the final grade that she would have. You can, if you look down here at the bottom of her data, if you scroll down, you can actually see all of the percentages. So you can see like 62, 96. So it's not an average grade. This is her actual score that she has. So that's what would go on the report card. Yeah, Melissa, the new version is really, really nice. It's different. You have to click through and play around to get used to it because it does look so different than what you're used to. But it really does give you so much more information at your fingertips. And so I'm definitely a big fan. And up here, you can even add more stuff to it. So like right now it has average performance. So it has the gray is the class, how my class is doing. And then the blue would be the student. So average performance, how many questions. Those are called widgets. And you can click here and you can even add more stuff up there if you wanted. So you would even have more stuff at your fingertips. All right. Can you search by standard? Kristen says, we are adding a search by standard and it should be released by the end of this month. So there you go. Something new is coming. Breaking news from ESGI. They'll be adding a search by standard for assessments coming up. I'm just curious. So let's say I want to search for KCC7 or we talked about that today. So if you could type in the standard and if somebody's created it, then it will show up, right? You can see comparing numbers, adding on. So you can see those in there as well, like right now, but ESGI is going to be adding a better search for that. Let's see. Make sure I didn't miss any questions. I don't see any other questions. So if you have any questions, you can let me know and I'll run through a couple of other things. All right. Let's see. Trying to think of some other things that I want to show you. Groups, again, at the top, you can have your classes, you can have groups. So the groups this is really good for progress monitoring, right? You can create your progress monitoring groups and keep track of them there. Up here, right here, you can see there's a pencil, some arrows, and a plus. You click the plus, you can add a student, you can add a class, you can add a group. So I have my little group here. When you add a group, it looks like this. You would give it a name, and then you can add the students to the group. And so one of the things I hope that you're noticing is that it's really easy to use, right? Like you make some assessments, you add your kids, and you can form some groups, and it's all there. And then you start assessing, and you've got all of this data, and it's all stored there for you. You don't have to carry around a bunch of paper. If I go sit in a data meeting, I just have ESGI pulled up. And when they say, hey, how are your kids doing with their sounds? I can say, well, right now my class is doing pretty good. We're at 65% mastery, right? I can click on that and be like, you know, we've made this much growth. We're struggling with some of these sounds, right? How easy is that? Like in a data meeting, like you have all of this information. And if you're talking about a certain student, you've got all of the same information, right? You can even say, well, Adeline's at 96% mastery, but she's struggling with a couple of these sounds. So we're targeting those in our small group. So again, great data, great information. Parent conferences. How great is this to have pulled up, right? Very visual for the parents. What I do for parent conferences is I use the student detail report. And I use that one for conferences because boom, it gives all that information, right? Parents love that. It's super visual. A couple of other things I want you to notice over here. We have activities, and you click on activities and you can do bingo cards. I mean, come on, y'all. It makes bingo cards. How much fun is that? Like, again, you can do it by class. You can do it by group. You can do easy, you can do medium, you can do hard, it tells you all the things. You can play at home, you can play on Classroom, pages to print. And then it just generates bingo cards for you. Like, how fun, right? Like Classroom, I want easy, I want hard, I want medium, and boom, it generates bingo cards. You can also do flashcards. We talked about flashcards. Has writing practice. And so you can generate writing practice. You can do sight words as well. So there are lots of really good tools so that after you assess, you've got bingo to practice what they need to practice. You've got flashcards to go home to practice. You've got writing practice. So you have lots of built-in tools to support that data. And then down here, you have your parent conferences. So you can actually use this to set up your parent conference schedule. All right. So Heather wants to know if I use ESGI for report cards. Yes. And so again, it's set up. Let's see. So it's set up to our grade scale, right? So that 80, 90, 70, whatever your grading scale is, it's set up to that. And so then when you click on that student detail report, you run that report and bam, there you go. It gives you all that. And you have that. And then you can also do the class grades report. And there you go. Like there's the grade. So that would go on the report card, right? So beginning was the baseline. the 1 would be the most current recent test. And so on the report card, Adeline would get an E, right? Like, so you could do it that way. When do you do assessments? Individually? Are they all in small groups? Both. I really want to use this, but just trying to figure out the best way to do assessments in the classroom. So ESGI is really designed for one-on-one assessments. So the way it works in my classroom is the kids are in centers, working in centers, and I just call them back and run through the test because, again, the tests are so fast. So here's what it looks like. So I just clicked my name. I'm going to give myself a test. I'm going to do incorrect and not tested questions. I'm going to hit start and boom. And again, I'm just clicking through. The kids are saying the sounds and we're just going through and we're done. And so the way it works in my classroom is the kids are in centers. I'm just calling them back to my table. Or a lot of times I'll take my iPad and go to wherever they are and just plop down with them, do the assessment quickly and be done. I know there was a question about self-assess. So we're going to go to Test Explorer. We're going to go up here to this little plus. We're going to create a test. And right here, you can create a self-assess test. So you would create your test, and then you would add your question, and then the kids would do it. Look at
the pictures. Which arrow shows where to start reading on a page?
And then they would click the answer. So that would be a self-assess option. So a lot of those are already built in there for you. And again, that's another great thing about ESGI is so much of it is already done. There's probably already an assessment for what you're wanting to assess. And so you don't even have to do it. It's probably already out there. Here is an example of a rubric. This is actually one of the first grade teachers at my school. So this is what the rubric looks like. And so we just pull that from our curriculum. Like our curriculum will have like this list of things we're supposed to assess. We just pull that and put it into either a yes/no test or a rubric, and boom, we've got easy way to get that data. So it's great for one-on-one. It's great for self-assess if you want to go that route. So Caitlin, assess one-on-one, and you've got your kids are in centers or working on something independently. You just call them to your table or you go to where they are and you do the assessment. Most of the time I can get done with an assessment. Like let's say coming up, we're comparing numbers. We'll have that assessment. Then I could do that a lot of times in a day because it's so quick. Sometimes it takes 2 days if kids are absent or if we have less time or whatever, but it really is that quick. So Jessica, to create your own assessment, I'm in my Test Explorer. So you got all this stuff. You just go right here to the little plus. It says Create Test. So we're going to click it, Create Test, and there you go. And then whatever kind of test you want. Do you want a yes/no test? You can do a self-assess. You can do a single score. Count, especially at the beginning of the year, like, hey, can they count to 5? Can they count to 20? Can they count to 100? Yes or no? It's a 1-question test. So you have that, or you can do a rubric. So you would just click it. It looks like this. You would give it a name, a description, content area, grade level, share with the district. And then you can add an introduction if you want to your test. I never do, but you can. And then you would just add a question. Directions, read the word. The word would be cat down here. This is what the kids would see. So right here, this black box, this is what would be on the screen for the kids to see. So if I want them to read the word cat, I'm going to type cat. Right here, the directions, read the word. And then over here, the question name, that's the answer. All right. So then you can copy it right here. It says copy content to next question. So then you can just click that. And then as you create more questions, the information is copied over. So read the word, gap, and then you would change the word, gap, boom. And you can change the size of the font. You can move it around on the screen. All right. So you can make it like super big. Oh, it's too big. Boom. You can use different fonts. Danelian. Banner Bloser. All right. And then you hit save and close when you're done. And there's your assessment. So you've created your own assessment and it's going to show up. Let's move that to language arts. You're going to save it. And there it is. And then I would click it. I selected it by clicking the little box. I'm going to add selected. When I click that, it's going to let me pick where I want it. I'll put it in my pre-reading tab. And now if I go back here, there's my new test. The tab, these categories right here that you see, pre-reading, pre-math, reading, math, those are all mine. I just created those. So up here, you can add a subject. So you can add to those tabs. School subjects, district, teacher. If I go over here, there's nothing for the district, nothing for my school, but those are the subjects that I've created. All right. Woo, coming soon. Kristen says we're about to add AI to ESGI for extended learning, and another new feature soon to come is to create your own self-assess. Awesome. So lots of new things coming out. So listen, y'all, if you haven't yet signed up, do it. What are you waiting for? Especially now, if you sign up with the code SMORGY before September 30th, you're going to get a 90-day free trial. That's a 90-day extended free trial. That's 90 days to test it out, to use it, to get used to it. And if you sign up with the code SMORGY before September 30th, you're entered into weekly drawings for a $500 Amazon gift card. So get signed up. And that code will also save you, Kristen, I'm going to say, I think it's $60 if you end up subscribing. So that code will also save you some money. All right. There's a question about the parent letters in Spanish. So let's go back over here. Parent letter. And Kristen, you'll be able to answer this better than me, I think. Let's see. Aha, there's his in Spanish. And here's how that happens. When I added the students, when you add your students, you have the option to do English or Spanish. And so if you choose Spanish, then the parent letter will automatically be in Spanish. All right. And so when I set my students up, if Spanish is their native language at home, that's what's spoken at home, that's what I selected, so that parent letter would be in Spanish. All right. And now, Kristen, I think there's a way to do other languages, but it's a cut and paste, if I remember correctly. I feel like we've talked about this before because my school always has, a lot of different languages, not just Spanish. And so I feel like me and Kristen have chatted about this before, and there's a way to do, it doesn't do it automatically, but I think there's a way to do it and then select other. All right, so let's just add Jason. Kindergarten, and then we'll save. Oh, I didn't put him in a class. And then that would give you the other language, right? And then you have that option as well. So you can do other languages, and then you edit the parent letter. Report, parent letter, run report. And then you can edit it and make the changes there. And this is a good thing I want to point out too. Thank you, Kristen. There's a ESGI, on their website, they have a great help page that will give you lots of step-by-step instructions. They also have a great YouTube channel with lots of great videos to show you things. So if you forget or if you are curious about something, you can go to their website, esgisoftware.com, and use their help page, use their YouTube channel as well. All right. I think that's about everything that I wanted to show you. So is there a way to get it in Pashto? I think so. Yolanda, the way that works is you basically, I think you're going to copy and paste is how you would get that other language in there. You would have to translate it through Google Translate or whatever, and then you would copy and paste it. But again, go to the esgisoftware.com website, look at their help page, and they have a step-by-step directions in there to show you how to edit that parent letter, to edit that family letter. All right. Let's see. I don't think there's anything else that I want to share. So if you have any questions last minute, let me know. And then we will choose a couple of winners for a free year of ESGI. So any last minute questions, I will be happy to help. Oh, thank you, Tricia. I'm glad it's helpful. And listen, here's the thing. I love this product. I have used ESGI, Kristen, I don't know, 10, 12 years. And I use it every year because it makes the job easier. It makes our job so much easier. Listen, here's what we do. Our math curriculum, for example, has all of these little exit tickets, these little show and tell tests, all of these things. And it's just a lot of paper and a lot of stuff to organize and keep up with. What we do in our math planning is we literally sit down, we look at those, like, what do we have to assess? And in our meeting, I'm creating the assessment. My team is like saying, hey, okay, next question, let's have it say this. Let's put this picture there. Our math coach is there. Our admin is there. So we're all collaborating and creating these assessments. So we have these great common formative assessments, and we're not spending days and days with all of these paper assessments, right? The other great thing is the information that we have is so valuable because it's current. Like, I could literally go into school tomorrow. If I want to know how my kids are doing with letters and sounds, now that we're over halfway through ABC boot camp, I'm going to sit down with my iPad or my laptop, take a few minutes, assess them, and I'll know exactly how we're doing. I'll know who's getting the sounds and letters, who's not. I'll be able to see which ones we're struggling with. And it just took a few minutes. And guess what that does? That makes my teaching easier because I know where to put my energy. I know what we need to focus on. I know who to pull into a small group that day because they're still struggling with the letter B or whatever. It just makes your job easier. It takes so much off of your plate, saves you so much time. And guess what? When we save that time, that means we can have more fun in the classroom, which is what we all want, right? So I swear by ESGI because I've used it for 12 years. It's an amazing tool. It makes my job easier. It makes family communication easier. The other great thing is, y'all, kids love this. Kids love this because guess what they get? They get one-on-one time with you for a minute or two. And you know what else they love? Is they love seeing that circle fill in. As soon as it's done, you're done with this test, that circle fills in immediately. And they love that because guess what? They can see, they know, ooh, it's almost full, or oh, it's full. You know what else they love? The kids love this growth line because kids get it. They get, oh, that line's going up. That means I'm learning. How motivating is that for our kids? Like, you don't get that from a paper assessment, right? Like, if we did a paper assessment and I marked 3 wrong, kids are like, oh, I got some wrong. Okay, like, that doesn't mean a lot to kids. But guess what? Kids get a circle filling in and they get a line going up. That's motivating for them. It helps them monitor their own learning as well. So again, it's a powerful tool. If you're looking for something that's going to save you time and stress and it's going to make your job easier, ESGI is the way to go. Because listen, We all know how important data is. We also know how tedious it can be to collect the data. ESGI makes it easier. And with all of these reports and all of this ability to group your students, to break down this data, it makes your job easier. You can differentiate, you can target your instructions, you can pivot. If you're in the middle of a skill, like right now we're in the middle of comparing numbers, I could assess them tomorrow and see how we're doing, because based on what I'm seeing in the lessons, I'm going to be willing to bet we're at like 99% mastery of the skill. I can move on, right? Like, and so it really just allows me to be a better teacher, a more effective teacher, because I can really target my instruction, and it's all easy because we have this great tool to make the data collection easier, and then analyzing the data easier as well. Trina, I don't change the pictures on my beginning sounds because I want it to be a consistent assessment, right? Like, I don't want to test them on these 26 pictures and then change them, because I want the data to be consistent. I could set up a second assessment using different pictures, and then I would have different data points, but I wouldn't change out the actual like assessment, because I wouldn't want it. I feel like that would mess with the data, because it would be different pictures, different vocabulary. But if I wanted a separate set of pictures, I would just create a second assessment with a different set of pictures. All right. Jessica, you're right. It will absolutely be helpful in your special ed K1 class. It really is great for everybody, because the fact that you can create your own assessments, so you really customize this for what works for you. You can make it work for you and your class and your needs, your school, your district requirements. And so that's the great thing about it, is it's customizable. And so you get to make it what you want it to be and make it work for you. All right. So again, ESGIsoftware.com. Sign up before September 30th using the code SMORGY. That will get you a 90-day free trial. That's an extended trial from ESGI, 90 days. You also use, if you sign up before September 30th using that code, the code SMORGY, you will also get entered into weekly drawings for a $500 Amazon gift card. Hello, who doesn't want a $500 Amazon gift card, right? So head over to esgisoftware.com, sign up for your trial, your free, no obligation trial using the code SMORGY before September 30th to get a 90-day free trial and enter those weekly giveaways for $500 Amazon gift cards. All right. And let's see. And again, thank you to Kristen from ESGI for being here. And thank you to ESGI for always being so supportive of teachers. Like, ESGI loves teachers, and they're always supportive. Anytime we need prizes for something or support for something, they are always willing to step up. So thank you to ESGI. And tonight they're giving away 2 one-year licenses to ESGI. So I have jotted down a couple of random names as we've been talking. All right. So our 2 winners are Megan Ibsen, and the other one that I had jotted down was Jessica Schaefer. So Jessica Schaefer and Megan Ibsen, you are the winners of a free 1-year license to ESGI. Thank you to ESGI for that. So, Kristen, how exactly do you want them to contact you to claim their prize? So I'm going to let Kristen comment. So Megan Ibsen and Jessica Schaefer, you won a free 1-year license to ESGI. Congratulations. And so there you go. Kristen says, congratulations. Please email Kristen@esgisoftware.com and she will get you your free trial. Congratulations, Jessica and Megan. Congratulations, everybody who won. And again, thank you all so much for hanging out. I hope that you found this helpful and beneficial. Again, if you have other questions about ESGI, you can reach out to us. We'll be happy to help. You can also visit the ESGIsoftware.com website. They have a great help page, and they also have a great YouTube channel with lots of great videos on there as well. All right. Thank you all so much for joining us. Have a great evening, and I hope that everyone's school year is off to a great start. Thank you so much. Thank you, ESGI. Thank you, Kristen, and we'll see you all again very soon. Bye.